Today I'm sharing some news from my nest, and it's about a channel update, sharing some good news about things that have happened to my channel over the last month. Hi, sweet friends. I'm Mary, and welcome to Mary's Nest. I'm a former New York City girl, now living the simple life with my husband here in the Texas Hill Country. And this channel is all about cooking from scratch, living naturally, and creating a cozy home with thrift store finds. So if you're like me and you want to live the simple life, be sure to subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click on the little notification bell below. That'll let you know every time I upload a new video. Now, before we even get started to dive into the news from my nest, I want to give a thank you to my friend Amy. She's a new subscriber, I believe, to my channel, and really, I don't even think of any of you as like subscribers or viewers. I think of you all as my sweet friends, and that's why I always say that, hi, sweet friends, because you're my sweet friends in my YouTube social circle, and Amy is one of them. And she sent me such a cute card, and I have to show you the picture. It has 2 chickens on it, sitting there. They're sort of like, it looks like they're inside almost and propped up on a leather couch. It's very cute. You can see that. And it says, it's got something printed on the front. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of some chickens. And that is a quote by Jane Austen. I think that's just adorable. And I just thought it was so sweet of Amy. Thank you very much, Amy, for sending this card to me, and the beautiful note and lengthy note that you wrote inside telling me all about you. I really enjoyed getting to know you, and since we're more or less neighbors here in the Hill Country, I look forward to having the opportunity to hopefully meet you in the near future, and I really look forward to that. And to any of you who would like to write me or to email me or even just leave a comment below, I leave in the description below. I have my address and as well as my email, and or you can always just leave a note in the comments. I really appreciate hearing from you, all of you, because it's just been such a delight. I've had the opportunity to get to know so many of you, as well as meet some of you in person, and that's just wonderful. Well, I wanted to come on tonight to say thank you very much to all of the wonderful subscribers that I have, and to welcome the new subscribers, because in the last month, my channel has grown considerably, and it appears as though many of you have discovered my bone broth video, specifically my beef bone broth video. And I'm so pleased that so many of you are enjoying that, because beef bone broth is really one of those things that's just so near and dear to my heart. I just love it, and I feel it's so nutritious and so good for you, and actually very easy to make at home. Well, I received a lot of comments and questions about making beef bone broth. And so earlier this week, last week, I had done an FAQ, frequently asked questions, just about bone broth. And at the time, I was making chicken bone broth, but I talk about both chicken and beef bone broth. And people were very curious about where to get the bones and can you reuse the bones and so on and so forth. So I answer all those questions, and I'll click I'll link to an iCard here so that in case you haven't seen that and you want to hear that conversation, you can watch that. Those of you who have been with me for a while may already know about my Mastering the Basics series, but for those of you who are new to my channel, I wanted to let you know that I have a series. It's about 15 videos that I have in a playlist titled Mastering the Basics, and basically it's mastering the basics of traditional foods cooking. And so I cover bone broth, both beef and chicken bone broth, and I cover ferments, how to make fermented vegetables. I specifically show how to make sauerkraut. And I also focus on cultured dairy, making different things like yogurt and kefir, all from scratch. And then I also show how to make my foolproof sourdough starter, and how to make sourdough bread, and how to soak and sprout grains, and how to make sprouted flour at home, and so on and so forth. So I think if you enjoyed the bone broth, you might enjoy watching those as well, and learning all about the basics, sort of the fundamentals of traditional foods cooking. And I'll be sure to put that in an iCard so that you can click on that and watch those videos so that you can learn about traditional foods cooking if it's a new subject to you. And I have 3 other series of videos that I wanted to share with all of you, my sweet friends, as I say, in my YouTube social circle. And one of those series is called Cooking with Scraps. And this is another thing I really love because I hate to waste. And I'll link to all of these that I've mentioned. I'll link them in the iCards, and I'll also put them in the description below so that you can click on those series if you've not had a chance to see them. But Cooking with Scraps is great. I show how to make use of all those little bits and bobs that sometimes might otherwise wind up in the trash can or the compost pile. And this is something that you can do to use up these scraps to make different meals or appetizers or little snacks and things like that. So that's always fun. And my other series is what I call Food Dehydrating 101. And I basically start right at the beginning with some books that I recommend for learning about dehydrating, various types of equipment that you can use for dehydrating. And I cover everything, even if you're interested in sun drying, if you don't want to have any equipment at all and just want to try it off grid. And then I go on to show how to dehydrate different sorts of things. And that's really going to be kind of a work in progress. I'll be adding to that playlist over time throughout the year as different fruits and vegetables are in season. And we'll try making some jerky and some dog snacks. And so it'll be fun. And I'll just be doing that, throughout the whole year. And the third series that I've been working on is I call it What to Do with Your Discarded Sourdough Starter. And I always have a lot of sourdough starter. And so I like coming up with ways to use it, use the discarded sourdough starter, because you've got to take some out every night and you would just have to throw that out when you feed your sourdough starter. And as I had mentioned earlier, if I'm cooking with scraps, I don't like to waste. And so I can't throw that sourdough, what you call discarded sourdough starter out. I just can't throw it out. So I have a whole series on things that you can make, like flatbread, and I've got one coming out. I don't think it's released yet, but it's going to show you how to make pancakes just using the starter, the discarded sourdough starter, not adding any flour in. And so I've got that coming out, but I've got one that's already been out of how to make flatbread, which is so delicious and crispy. Oh, I love it. And then I've got another one that's already out in the playlist where I make like a sourdough, what I call a sourdough skillet. And it's kind of like a take on a tamale pie, but without the cornmeal. And what's great is it's so flexible. You can throw anything into that. And then you just top it with the discarded sourdough starter that you mix with some eggs and some seasonings and pour that on top, bake it in the oven. It's delicious. Not to mention that it's probably one of my favorite ways to use discarded sourdough starter. And then, for those of you who have been with me for a while, you probably know how I've met my husband and how I wound up as a former New York City girl living here in the Texas Hill Country. But if you're new to my channel, I have a video called Why Do I? And then it's just followed by a blank with a question mark. And that was part of a collaboration that I was invited to participate in. And it was coordinated by my friend Vicki, who has Vicki's Country Home. And Vicki actually lives up in Nevada, but her mother lives here in the Hill Country. And when Vicki was visiting her, I got to meet her. I got to meet Vicki in person, which was a lot of fun. But Vicki did this collaboration where she invited a number of us to participate. And she asked us to fill in the blank. So she asked us the question, why do I? And then you had to fill in the blank. And so I filled in the blank with why do I? Why do I what? And part of that story involves how I met my husband and how I came to live here in Texas. So if you're new to my channel, you might enjoy learning about that. And other than that, a little bit about me is that, as I shared, I'm a former New Yorker, and I'm in my 60s now. I'm married. My husband and I have been married over 20 years, and we have a son who's grown, and which was a delight. I had him in my 40s. That was a real blessing. And after he went off to college and my husband were empty nesters, I had thought about doing a blog, because I had started a blog many years ago. Blogging was like very new. And I was a mother with a child and homeschooling. And I said, well, that'll be fun. I'll do a little homeschool blog. But I found it took a lot of work. And I was busy just being a wife and a mother and a homeschool mom. So I did a little bit with it and then just let it fall to the wayside and put my focus on my family. Well, once my husband and I became empty nesters, I thought, well, that'll be fun. Maybe I'll go back, and I love to cook and make natural remedies and things like that. I'll do a little blog. But then I said to myself, there's YouTube. I can do videos. That's even more fun. And so that's kind of how all of this came to be. Well, in any event, I also want to share with you as we go forward that if there's anything that you're particularly interested in having me cover, please leave it in the comments below. And I'm happy to do my best to try and make videos about cooking or natural living or thrifting that you're interested in. And so to both my wonderful, sweet friends who are been with me for a while and those that are new in my YouTube social circle, I'd love to hear from you. So let me know in the comments below those things that you enjoy and find interesting. I've got some fun things planned for March, especially with St. Patrick's Day coming up. I'm going to do some nice traditional Irish recipes. My father was Irish, and my mother is Italian. We had a lot of strong Italian influence in our home because I think that often whatever the ethnicity of the mother is, tends to really, at least in our case, really sort of ruled the home, but in a nice and loving way. Lots of good food and wonderful traditions and so on and so forth. But my mother was very cute. She always made a big fuss about St. Patrick's Day, and she learned to make all sorts of wonderful dishes that my father really enjoyed. And so I look forward to sharing some of those recipes with you over the coming month. Well, that's all the news from my nest tonight, but I want to thank you all so much for joining me here on this YouTube journey, both to those who have been with me for a while and those of you that are new to my channel. It's really wonderful having all of you here. I really feel like, it's a bit of a family. It's a lovely social circle. I've had the opportunity to get to know so many of you, met some of you in person, and have corresponded with others through email, and as well as letters and so on and so forth. And it's just been a delight, and I really enjoy knowing all of you and corresponding with you. So please feel free to contact me via the comments or via email. I put that in the description below where you can contact me. And let me know those things that you would enjoy, or if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help. If you're completely new to my channel and seeing these videos for the very first time, be sure to subscribe to my channel and then click on this video over here that'll tell you what the channel's all about. And I look forward to seeing you over there in my Texas Hill Country kitchen. Love and God bless.